Hi guys, and welcome to another Watch Geek video. Today we're doing another unboxing from another micro brand. So let's open the package and see what we got. And the outer box is quite large. Ooh, it has a lot of bubble wrapping. And inside a Stalingrad box. So the brand is Stalingrad. And they contacted me recently if I'm willing to review their watch. There's nothing else in the box, and as usual I gave them my only condition. They agreed, so here's the watch. Stalingrad, a very unusual name if you ask me. So let's open it. So this is the outer cardboard box. There's inside another one. This is another layer of bubble wrapping. And the actual box of the watch. Let me just put the camera slightly lower, like so. Okay, are you ready? Let's open it. And here it is. This is the bomber, as they call it. And look at this thing. Let me just zoom in a bit. Let me zoom out. Let's take it off this pillow, and you get an additional strap. So this is a Cordura strap, and you get an additional NATO strap. So they make a variety of watches from quartz to mechanical, and I found this one the most interesting, so I asked them if I get to choose, I would like to review this, and they decided to send it. So let's open this. I already like the strap. I do like Cordura. Very nice. Now, if you follow my channel, you know I'm not a fan of NATO straps. I like nylon straps, but I like two-piece ones, like this Cordura one. I don't like when the strap goes under the watch and makes it sit even higher, and you get that bulk on this side. So I'm really not a fan of NATO straps. I know that's blasphemy in the world of watches, but what can you do? Okay, let's peel this off. And it seems like there's another layer on the crystal, so let's peel that one off. This one is the most satisfactory. And here we go. So as you can see, this is a pretty original looking watch. The case is IP coated with this aged DLC or whatever they want to call it. But as you can see, it looks like it's been beaten up. And the good thing about this kind of finish is that you really don't feel sorry when you wear the watch and actually damage it. Look at it. It's powered by the Miyota 8200 series of movements, as you can see by the very highly spinning rotor, because the Miyotas are unidirectional in winding, so the rotor really likes to spin. It has the usual Miyota finishing, which is pretty nice. And look at that dial. It's a sandwich dial as far as I can see, and it's pretty original. The numerals as well as hands. I like the fact that the hands are very long, and look, they're almost reaching to the end of the dial. Now, there are two things that I don't like about this watch even before I opened it, but now that I see it in person, it really is confirmed. And number one is the size, number two is the price. So let's discuss the size. This is a 42mm watch. If you follow my channel, you know I don't like large watches, and when you have a 42mm watch with this big dial, it really is very large. But since it is kind of inspired by, I don't know, pilot watches or submarine watches, I understand that most people are gonna love the size. But to me, this, I mean, it looks okay, and I'll see how it looks on my wrist, but already I think this is pretty long lug to lug. But the one thing that I don't like is because of the size, look at where the date is. You can clearly see that this movement was not made for this kind of a big watch, and you can see it on the case back as well, because the movement is very small compared to the rest of the watch. And the date really shows it. Now this, I don't have really a problem with that, because this is sitting on your wrist, you're gonna glance at it occasionally, but this really catches the eye. If they made the date in black, it will be less pronounced, and I think I could live with it. Or even better, if they made a no-date version of this, now that would look really cool. Being a Miyota, it does have hand winding, but it doesn't have hacking. Or does it? It's not supposed to. Maybe because it's not wound properly, let's see. Well, this one does. This is a first for me. The date, and when you pull it, it hacks. So it might be a modified 8200 movement, because I know they're supposed to hand wind but not hack. Well, that's very interesting. Okay, the second thing is the price. Now the price is $365, and usually that will be okay for what you get, but we got spoiled by so many micro brands, and I'm gonna be doing an unboxing. I mean, I already recorded the unboxing, but I have to publish it when they tell me, because they don't want any press releases to be released before they announce the watch. But I'll put a link once I publish that. There's probably going to be a link in this corner of the screen. And that watch costs the same as this one. In fact, it's even cheaper when you count in the discount codes that they have. And that thing has a sapphire crystal, a Miyota 9039 movement, so 28,800 BPH movement. It comes on a bracelet, a Rolex-styled bracelet, and a Rolex-styled clasp with the gliding adjustment for that money. And this, according to their webpage, has a mineral crystal, has the 8200 series of movements, which is considered a lower tier movement than that, and comes on a strap. Now, a strap is very nice, but a bracelet is always the more expensive and more luxurious option. So, price-wise, I don't think there's, I mean, it is a good value, but when you compare it with what's offered today from many micro brands, this, in my opinion, with the specs that they mentioned, I don't know, maybe it does have a sapphire crystal, but they say it's mineral, so why would I question that? For that kind of specs, you would expect somewhere around $200. So this is slightly too much for my taste, but I cannot deny that the watch does look cool. Now, we have to see it how it looks on my wrist. And I believe it's going to be too big for me, but like I said, that's my personal taste. I always like smaller looking watches. I understand that these kind of watches have to be large. Who knows, maybe I'll change my mind once I strap it on. So let's put it on and see what happens. Okay, let me just adjust the strap. And here it is. And I have to admit, it's not too bad. The lugs are at the very edge of my wrist, so my wrist can handle it. And it's now just down to personal preference. Now, I think, well, it actually doesn't look that bad, because the case is very round and the lugs are separated from the case, so the case looks smaller, kind of like a tuna, and this is like an additional part of the strap. So it actually does look cool. Okay, so the size, yes, most people will be able to handle it. I would still prefer it if it was smaller, but I understand people resenting me for saying that. Now, one thing that I noticed on their webpage was a lume shot of this watch, and it apparently looks cool. So we'll try to charge it a bit, because it was in a box traveling for a couple of weeks. And it's not completely dark in my room, so excuse me if it doesn't... If it isn't as impressive, but I will be doing a detailed review with macro shots and a proper lume shot where the camera is adjusted for the lume shot. So let's put manual focus so we don't lose it, and turn off the light. And here it is. Okay, it's very impressive. Even in these not so great conditions, the lume is excellent. Let me see it off camera. Oh yeah, it's very, very bright. Okay, I like the lume, I like the dial and the hands. I overall like the style of the watch, but like I said, if it was just slightly smaller for my wrist, I would love it. And the price, they really need to recheck the price, but that's just because of the market, what market has become. I mean, you really get a lot of value from these micro brands, and this one is kind of pushing the price up while the specs are in the lower tier. Anyways, that's it. So I really do like the watch, except those two things that I mentioned. So, and do stay tuned for the full review. Anyways, that's it. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like and subscribe. And until the next video, bye.